In today's world, we only watch the endings, a flashy success story or the brutal collapse. But we don't hear about the full journey that it took to get there. The late nights, tough calls, moments of doubt. On In Between Sips, we dive deep into the raw, unfiltered stories of what these business owners and leaders have been through and who they became along the way. So pull up a chair, pour a cup, and join us. We're just getting started. Because we all know the best conversations happen in between sips. Thank you, Tim, for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Ryan.
Appreciate you taking the time.
Pleasure, man.
Yeah, this is early morning with Tim, the pharmacist. Early morning, earliest shoot we've done for In Between Sips, 7 a.m., bright and early.
7 a.m., man.
But that's not where your morning typically starts, is it?
3:33 every morning, man.
The 3:33 club.
3:33, tree.
I thought like the 5 a.m. club was legit. Like I feel good about, okay, I'm getting up at 5, I'm getting up at 6, depending on the day.
Yeah.
Early morning, you know, get after it. Whether you wake up, you do work, or you go work out. Like I'm a firm believer of like, okay, getting up early, getting the day going, especially when you have kids, right?
For sure.
Like that's the club you want to be a part of. And then I see you at the gym and you're like, oh, I'm already done with my workout. Like, what are you talking about? You've been here since when? Like, like I get up at 3:33.
I'm cold plunge. I was cold plunged. I was in the cold plunge this morning at 4:15.
Wow.
So that's a way to start your day.
What started you getting up so early? Like, what was that? Was that like a lifestyle choice? You're like, hey, or is it a family choice? You got to get in the office. Like, why 3:33?
So I started getting up, like I was getting torn up with my supervisor, with him writing me up because I was like rolling out of bed and just going straight into work. And this was like years ago, right?
Yeah.
So after a while, like I started, they put me on at overnights when I was working at the Big W.
The Big W.
Wally World with Walgreens.
Oh.
So when I was over there, they had me working overnight, so I would work 7 nights on and 7 nights off.
Yeah.
But my shift started at 9 p.m. So I couldn't really just get up at like 8 and then just go in and pull a 10-hour shift. So I was getting up at like 5 so that I can get a glimmer of sunlight before I started work, right?
Before you jump into the pharmacy duties.
Exactly. So
so you worked overnight at Wally World?
Yeah. So that
as
was
a pharmacist.
Yeah.
Was that your first job out of school or was it?
No, so I was working at Walgreens as a tech like way previously before I even got into school. And then after like throughout school, I was working as an intern. And then once I got out, they had a position that was available for me, like super north suburbs of Chicago.
So you were in the north suburbs of Chicago working overnights at Wally World.
Yeah.
You must have seen some weird stuff.
I mean, it was quiet.
Really?
So up there, a lot of people have jobs. So nobody was really out and about at like, you know what I mean? Like 12 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock. There was one dude who would come in, he would take an Ambien and then he would drive to the Walgreens. So he was like my visitor every once in a while. But he was just like, he was out of it.
He was like your buddy.
He would come in every once in a while. I was like, all right, this guy's back.
Yeah.
And I think he stumbled down the stairs once, drove himself to the hospital.
Oh my God.
Came to the pharmacy, picked up his meds, and then went back home. All like, it's crazy.
And there's
some of
nothing
the drugs
you could do. You're just behind the glass, just like watching the movie
sitting
unfold.
over here. Yeah, I'm just sitting over here at night. Like, it was wild because nobody would be there at nighttime.
Yeah.
So that's where I started to do like a lot of the compounding and stuff because I would do it for the district.
Oh, okay.
So there wasn't any like other compounding pharmacies for Walgreens in that area.
Yeah.
So they would just send it to our store. So overnight I would put that stuff together and then like 200-300 prescriptions would drop in for like the autofills. So I'd put those together for them.
Yep.
And then I told my supervisor at the time, I was like, Chris, like if I'm done with all my stuff, can I like start going to school and get like my MBA? He's like, as long as you finish all your stuff. He's like, I don't care what the hell you do. As long as you're like, you know, if you're on it, you're on
2 a.m. at Wally World.
Yeah, who's gonna come in? Who's gonna be like, hey Tim, what are you doing over there? You know? So this was like before like hotspots and all that stuff on your phones.
Okay.
So I had an Android, and this was like 2010, right? So I had an Android at the time, and I was like, man, there's got to be a way to like hack this network to be able to like put internet on my computer.
Yeah.
So like I rooted my phone. So there's like, if you go in and like look at Androids and stuff, there's a thing called rooting. So you go into the actual like software of itself, like delete the whole like operating software itself, re-up it.
Yeah.
Oops. And then you basically download like whatever it was. So I was able to tether the network from my phone onto my laptop and just have it like basically work. So like at nighttime, like it was like either Walgreens Muzak that would play, which was like the same thing 24/7.
You
like,
say Muzak?
Yeah, that's what they call it. It's like a purchased subscription software.
Walmart can't even use music. They got to use Muzak.
Muzak, yeah. So that's what it is, right? It's like there's always like a little spin, right?
There's always a spin.
Yeah. It's like, what was that?
We're not paying full price for music around here.
Coming to America, it was McDonald's or Whack Arnold's. Yeah. So Muzak. But I would have like music playing in the pharmacy.
Wow. So before there was AI, there was Tim tethering,
and then doing like...
to do pharmacy and MBA.
It's all comes from the start, man.
Oh my God.
We're of that generation, dude.
Yeah.
You know,
just get
like,
it done.
Like we grew up with not having any of this tech.
Yeah.
Actually putting the tech together, right?
Yep.
And then now living with the repercussions and saying we don't want tech anymore.
Yeah. That's weird, isn't it?
It's crazy.
And we've not been on this earth that long. So like when I was growing up, it was a corded phone on the wall.
Yeah.
Right? Like that was a big deal.
Yeah.
If you had like a long cord, right? And then the dial-up. Oh, like people have internet on their phones now, but very few youngsters nowadays, they don't know what the dial-up world was like.
Yeah, dude.
You would wait 10 minutes and then it would say error timed out and you're like,
and then your parents are yelling at you because you're on the computer and they're like, none of the phone calls are coming in, dude. Like, what the hell are you doing? Like, you can't get more than one call going to begin with, let alone like, oh no, I got to go and do some research online.
That screeching of the dial-up.
Yeah.
That noise is just baked into my mind. And you're right. Then we've seen it come to fruition where now we have everything on our phone. It's lightning fast.
Yeah.
You know, AI world. And now, so we lived through all that.
Yeah.
We lived through before there really was tech. And now it's not just tech adoption, but tech dependence.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's weird. And I'm like looking back at it, I'm like, man, what did everybody build? You know?
Yeah. Because if you think about like, I don't know, when I was growing up, like you played outside.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you did. Like, even though I was born and raised in Arizona, you played outside. I remember this one time our friends, like, do you remember when roller derby was like huge?
Yeah.
We thought it'd be fun to do like roller derby, like on the street.
Okay.
And so like we cleared it with all the houses, like our neighbors like, hey, can we check somebody into the front lawn? And so we would literally
cactus there, man.
Yeah, well, some had cactus. That was off limits. You could only check somebody off the sidewalk into the yard if it was grass.
Oh, okay.
But even in Arizona, like, what is grass, right?
Yeah.
And so, but picture like on a block, you know, we would be doing laps and be doing races.
Oh,
and
man.
we'd literally be just checking people into lawns. And if you check somebody into like along with rocks, like you'd be out.
Dude, that's
like,
hilarious, man.
Like that's what we did,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And nowadays people look at that and like, it's crazy. I saw some meme, it was hysterical. They said, I don't see as many casts like I used to growing up.
Yeah.
Like, walking around, you know, like all the kids, like I can't remember the last time I saw a kid in a cast. And like, oh, there's some truth to that.
They're going to be soft when they get older, man.
Yeah. I hope not. But.
Hopefully not.
So tell me about when you grew up. So we touched on Chicago a little bit, but walk me through before that, because there's a lot that goes into wanting to get into pharmacy, apothecary. Like, is that something you were always passionate about? Or was there like that moment where like, man, I'd really love to do this? Like, kind of walk me through where you grew up and how that happened.
I mean, I was born and raised in Chicago, like northern suburbs, like I had mentioned. And then when I was 12, like my father ended up moving over here. He found a store to buy and purchase. It was out in Tempe.
What kind of store?
It was just like a convenience store.
Oh, okay.
So they had a deli, and then they had a convenience store, and then eventually he had like beer and wine. He ended up getting the liquor license and stuff that's over there. So needless to say, we sold a lot of kegs to a lot of ASU students.
I went to the West Campus, so I don't think there was that many kegs.
So I mean, it was cool because like they would come in, they'd get their stuff, and then the next day they'd come in hungover, and we'd be making them sandwiches too. So like it's cool.
You got the full circle.
Yeah, like you got the Polaroids. Like we had Polaroids littered across the whole store.
Yeah,
and it was all like what we would do is like if they got 10 sandwiches, we would take their picture on the wall and give them a free sandwich.
That's so
So it was
funny.
cool because it was like everybody would have like their own like claim to fame
Yeah.
in that store, you know? So like while we were growing up over here, like we moved out here in like 97.
Okay.
So there wasn't much going on.
Yeah, it was orange groves.
Yeah. So like me coming from Chicago and like growing up, and it was the Bulls era, and I was super into basketball, and Jordan was all over the place.
Yeah.
So
No other era, by the way, will ever touch that era in sports.
Yeah, I know. And then you'll have an argument with somebody younger, and then they'll be like, "Oh yeah, whatever, dude."
No, just tell him this quote, because I was listening to an interview with Michael Jordan, and they said, they asked him, they said, "Hey, this year's dream team, Olympics, versus your dream team with all your guys, who would win and by how much?" And of course, Jordan was like, "Oh, we'd win."
Yeah.
And the guy was like, "Okay, how much would you win by?" And he was like, "I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 points." Like, you're so confident you're going to win, but it's only by 3 or 4 points. And Jordan said, "Well, yeah, at our age, like that would be tough." Like,
he's still got it, man. He's a dog, dude.
His mindset was like, how old is he now? He's got to be what, 50s? I don't know.
No, at least more.
Yeah,
way more.
And so he's already estimating like, okay, we could beat him, but it's still going to be by 3 or 4 points.
Yeah.
Like, that was the greatest quote.
He's just a killer,
from the legend.
Man.
He is.
He's a killer, dude.
I can't imagine living during that era up there.
Yeah, it was nuts, man. That's like everything. It was everything. So like morning, noon, and night, we'd be playing basketball constantly.
Just Bulls everywhere, Jordan everywhere.
All day. And then like when we moved out over here, I was in that. So it's like I still felt like a tie to Chicago. So I always wanted to go back.
Yeah.
And then while we were here, it was a gift and a curse because I was away from a lot of like friends, family, and all that type of stuff that were out there in Chicago.
Yeah.
But it helped me really focus here.
Yeah.
Whereas over there, it's like you get distracted, you do a bunch of stupid things with like your friends and buddies, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like when we came out over here, I didn't have that many distractions at all. So it kind of like really clicked when I was like maybe a freshman in high school. And I was like, like before I would just like put like homework off and like not focus on like studying or any of that type of stuff. And then one day I was just sitting at home and I'm like, you know what, man? Like, what am I doing? I'm not doing anything. I might as well just like start doing work, you know?
When your dad was an entrepreneur, right? Because you said he took over a shop and you got to see that journey.
I mean, I would work with him. Yeah. So I would be there on the weekends with him every day during the summers. Like I'd be there with him. So it's like I got to see and experience what it takes to open up and run a business.
Yeah.
So he would show me like how he would like calculate like profit and loss and all that type of stuff. And I was 12.
That's
so it's
awesome.
like getting that education that early on was so crucial.
Yeah.
That it really like planted a seed where once I got older and I started going into pharmacy itself, like I went to pharmacy school to become a pharmacist, but I've always been more on like the business side of it. That's always been like my kind of focus.
Yeah.
So that's like initially when I had first looked into pharmacy, I wanted to go into like something in the medical field. Not so much from the business side, but I wanted to help people in a certain way, right? And then I was I think it was sophomore year of high school, and there was a newspaper article that came out, and it said that there's a shortage of pharmacists. So I was like, all right, cool. Like I've never heard of what a pharmacist is. It's not like I had like family members that were all, in the medical field. Like my parents immigrated here from Iraq. So it's like I had there was no like foundation to go based off of, you know? So I asked a couple people, like one of them was my dad's uncle. He was a CPA and I trusted his judgment. And then the other one was one of my favorite teachers that was at Horizon.
Yeah.
Her name was Mrs. Wheatcroft.
You were a Hawk? Is it a Hawk?
Huskies.
Huskies, that's what it is.
Yeah, Huskies. So, but I asked her, she was an awesome lady. And she's like, oh yeah, it's like very good career. Like you help people out, you're in medicine and all that type of stuff. So I was like, all right, this is cool. And then once I graduated high school, I was like, I might as well start working in the field.
Yeah.
See if I even like it.
Yeah.
Right. Before I start devoting all this time and energy and money into education to go into something that after I get out, I'm like, what the hell did I do to myself? Right. So
we'll get into that later, right?
Yeah.
There's a whole nother topic.
Oh man. Yeah. It's okay. It's all part of the journey. You know what I mean? Right. It's all a part of the journey. That's so, right. But yeah, man, once I started working there, like I really enjoyed it. I liked the processing of it, like the efficiency, everything that goes into running a good pharmacy itself, right? And having like interactions with people, and they're at their lowest, and you're kind of like a point of contact for them to kind of give them a little bit more heart during that time that they're struggling, and like we would get people all the time, dude. Like, and I mean, I started off working in Scottsdale, like right by the Kierland one, but then like working down in like the south side of Chicago and managing like a store down over there, like total different like dichotomy of
how so?
I mean, just demographic of people. You have economic disparities significantly. So you get to see like a whole swath of like how people are struggling, what they're getting themselves involved in. So a lot of that like played into why we're doing what we're doing now. You know what I mean? Is like seeing all those people struggle and doing things that probably are not the best for themselves.
Yeah.
And trying to like kind of pull people out of that and show them, hey, there's a better path. You don't have to be so reliant on the stuff, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of that kind of went into the whole thing. But again, it's all a journey of seeing like how things go and how companies run, what their primary objective is.
Yeah.
And that really had a huge impact on me wanting to open up our place. And then on top of it, kind of like maneuvering and getting to the place that we're at right now.
Yeah, that's interesting to hear too. Side note, I love knowing about the deli.
Oh yeah.
Because I didn't know the story behind that. And so when you said, hey, my parents are running a deli, in the same complex, next door, I was like, cool. I mean, phenomenal sandwich, like great quality. Like it was awesome. And it was cool because it's your parents like behind there, right?
Right,
so
right.
It was cool to see that, but I didn't realize like it went as far back as like, no, he's been doing the deli thing, the convenience store thing ever since he moved here.
Yeah.
And so that's really cool to see. But that's interesting too on adapting to those changes. So you started off as a pharmacist, but now very passionate about apothecary and compounding and wellness and health. Like I would say you're probably leaning more into the preventative care versus the reactive care, right?
Right.
You probably have a much better way of saying it than I do.
No, you're right on it. Yeah.
But it almost seems like you saw what had happened in Chicago, Illinois, Arizona. You see these trends happening and you're wanting to not just adapt your business, but adapt the way you provide healthcare.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And
what was that moment though? Like, is there like a person you helped that you just thought like, man, like there's a better way to help them than just filling a script?
So when I had first opened the apothecary out here, I started off doing retail medication. So I was contracted with insurance companies. Again, like having 14 years experience working at Fortune 50 company, from like tech all the way up to a corporate manager. Like that's what I knew. Yeah. Right. So I figured, hey, if I'm going to open up a place, and even like working with independent pharmacies before we came out here, that's all that they did also. So it's like, that was like my bread and butter. Yeah. And I figured, hey, I can do it, and I can do it in a better way. So we'll run the gambit on that. We'll offer compounding. So compounding was like a side note.
Wow.
It was like an additional service that I was including just because I had that background from before when I was working overnights. So I was like, you know what, like we'll just do this and, see where God takes us with it.
Yeah.
And then as time went on, we ended up going through, like I opened up, it was June of 2020. So heart of all this, right?
So you opened up June of 2020.
Yeah.
What happened in 2020?
It's kind of crazy.
So you're like, hey, world's going nuts. Let me open a business.
Yeah. Best time to do it.
That's awesome.
It was a blessing. The biggest blessing, man. That year was the biggest blessing.
Yeah.
I mean, our son was born that year. We were we were living in Chicago all the way up until May.
Wow.
And then.
So you experienced the both and of 2020 from Chicago to here.
Oh yeah, for real. And so like working in that whole dynamic, I think they think a little different than how we do out here.
There was a different dynamic between
a little bit,
Chicago and Arizona.
From when I think back, there's a little difference,
Yeah. How so? How so? I mean, it's like a real example.
We live in America here.
Yeah. I mean, I'm born and raised in Arizona, so I'm loving this right now.
Man.
Because all I've heard my whole life is how the Bulls spoiled the Suns run.
Yeah.
Hey, remember Paxton destroyed our dreams of a championship,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
Like we never have anything, but when it matters, Arizona steps up.
It does, yeah, and that's what I appreciate. So now, like it was really cool, like being out over here during that time.
Yeah.
So like we were on FaceTime with my parents because they were still living out here, them and my sisters.
Yeah.
And our son was born. Nobody's coming out to like see us because of everything that was happening.
Was Chicago just fully locked down? Remind me.
Totally locked down, dude.
I remember there was like a few states that like fully locked. I think it was
fully
like
shut
New York,
down. Fully shut down.
Chicago, I think California, right?
Yeah.
Where it was full.
Yeah, you couldn't go anywhere, man. You had to wear, they were doing all the stuff that they were doing. So we were on FaceTime with my parents, and my mom just like jokingly, she's like, "Hey, why don't you just like rent an RV and come out here?" And we hung up the phone, and my wife's like, "That doesn't sound like half bad an idea."
Yeah.
I was like, if you're saying that, and she hated Arizona at the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, if that's coming from you,
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, this might be like postpartum or something, but I'm taking it. I heard it.
Yep.
I'm booking it.
I'm recording it.
We're out of here.
Yep.
So you
were probably already recording her though, because you had worked your phone into the system where you were recording. I'm just kidding. But yeah, so you get an RV.
So we get an RV.
Just rent one.
Newborn boy. Our daughter was 1.5 years.
Wow.
And I told her, I was like, hey, if you want to sit in the RV for 25 hours, I'm like, we'll go. And we were only coming out for a couple weeks, so we were just going to come in, visit, see everybody, kind of get away from that whole environment. Yeah. And then, dude, like the first week we were here, I saw like, hey, like the family's around, like my family was there, like both my sisters were there. It felt so good.
Yeah.
And after that, like I was looking at it, and I'm like, man, I wonder what it would take to open a place up over here.
Yeah.
Because I was trying for a few years out there, and it just wasn't working out, man. Like I'm telling you, like
you were still at Walmart, like looking for places.
So I was working at independent pharmacies out in Chicago,
just around. Okay, and then I want to open up my own.
Yeah, I was like, just kind of learning, and I had a couple mentors that they were like very gracious in having me over there. So I learned a lot from them, and it was very helpful because I was running a chamber of commerce out there too, so I met with a lot of business owners too.
That must have been a wild time.
Dude, it was awesome. I mean, It was probably one of the best education experiences that I had.
Love it.
And I volunteered for that role, but it was like the value that I got from being able to sit down and meet with some of these people that like they built huge companies for themselves, and just seeing it, like it really was like inspirational, where you're like, man, you can do whatever it is that you want to put your mind to, so that all like played into the whole thing. So when we were out here for 2 weeks, after the first week, I was looking around, I was like, all right, let me see what it takes to do it out here.
When did you come out here? What month?
So we got in on Mother's Day.
Okay.
And we hadn't told anybody that we were coming, so we surprised everybody.
Oh, that's
on that
with
day,
your newborn.
With the newborn. So we came in that day, cool. And it was like during when everything else is locked down, nobody knew what the hell was happening.
Your parents must have just been.
My mom flipped. Yeah, everybody flipped out.
That's
dude.
Cool.
Yeah, so it was really cool. But like that, after that first week, I started looking at like what was going on and what it would take. And dude, Ryan, I'm telling you, like within a week, I had everything set up. And I'm like, if this isn't from God, like, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
So like, I told my wife, I was like, babe, I'm sorry, we're moving over here. She's like, what? And just like flipped. Cause it's
Did she have family back there?
Yeah. Like,
so all her family.
My in-laws, all of them are over there. All of our extended family is over there. She grew up there.
Yeah.
So it was a really hard conversation. It was really tough for a few months,
Yeah.
But I mean, when eventually they came out over here, she basically said, like, you got 3 months, like, figure it out. If you can't figure it out in 3 months, like she was back there with the kids too.
Oh, wow.
So I had 3 months over here where I just like literally focused, sat down, and like I was building everything out. I didn't have AC in the pharmacy at the time.
Oh man.
So it was June and July, right? Here.
So blood, sweat, and tears.
For real.
Really meant it.
A lot of sweat. A lot of sweat. Like, you ever been in a place where it's so hot and you've got a fan and it's like, this is making it worse?
Yes,
yeah,
100%.
That's what was going on.
100%.
Yes.
I remember my car, I was young and dumb, and I like went up north with like a 95 Jeep Cherokee.
Okay.
And I decided to, it was like for church camp. So I packed in all the liters and all of our luggage. I mean, the tires were barely clearing
Yeah.
the
wheel well.
wheel well. I'm just remembering now. I'm like, oh my gosh. I remember I had never, I was still young. I'd never pushed a car to the limit like that.
Yeah.
And we're going up the hill, and all of a sudden I see the overheat go on. It's a 95 Cherokee.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not like there's all
this fire very easily.
Yeah. It's not like there's electronics warning you like there is nowadays.
Yeah.
It's literally just boop,
Yeah.
bright light.
Right.
And I remember thinking like, okay, everybody roll the windows down. We got to turn the heater on to try to, try to clear it out something.
Yeah.
We ended up having to pull over, but it was July.
Yeah.
So yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Not only did we, middle of July, it was like heater was on in the car.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. So you were working were you in your business at the time? Like you had bought the business that it is there. It just didn't have AC at the time.
So it wasn't operational. So like I started that thing from the ground up. There was nothing in there.
You were just like in
so
office
there was
suite,
like office
no
suite.
AC.
I had built the server. So I had the server that was over the computer, but like all the stuff that you see in there, like I was putting all of that together by hand.
Same location though, off of the 51.
Same location right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same location right there. But it was like about 2 months that we didn't have AC. I didn't have any meds.
Did you have any employees?
Or no employees. It was just me.
So you were just
just there. Like I was just building everything, putting everything together.
I don't even care. To you, you're a health guy, so you're like, oh, this is a sauna for a day. Right?
Yeah, but it's you could say that. But that's like how focused I was on trying to make this happen. Because I literally like at that point, it's funny because like when you talk to people that start their businesses or they want to get into stuff, it's like when your back is really against the wall, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
And at that point in time, I was like, I've got nothing else. I literally had nothing else that was going on.
And in the backyard, you're still having to provide.
I got to provide for my
family.
wife and the kids. Yeah, man. And it's like, what am I going to do? So like at that point too, I was like, I got no choice but to make this happen. So it didn't matter if it was 150 degrees or whatever it was that was going on. I was going to make that thing happen.
Yep.
So thank God, like it opened up and we were able to put everything together. We went through the insurance thing in the beginning, right? Like how you initially had asked about it. It's a very long roundabout way of getting to it, right? But when we started doing the insurance stuff, most of the insurance companies, they were telling us like, hey, if you're delivering medications, because people were scared, they didn't want to come out. Even being in Arizona, like that whole mindset was making its way out over here also. So a lot of the people that were getting their meds, they're like, dude, we don't want to come out. So we were offering free delivery, which we still do.
Yeah.
But when we were offering the free delivery with insurances, you got to get a proof of delivery signature.
Oh, wow.
So if it's contactless, because everybody's got to stay a certain, I don't know where they came up with the numbers, but like, you got to stay apart.
Who knows?
So they're like, if you can't get a signature, you can just write down like, whatever COVID, no signature needed or whatever the hell it is, right? So we were doing that because majority of our patients, if not all of them, were saying, hey, listen, like we don't want to do anything. Just leave it there. Like we'll tell you that. Yeah, leave it at the door. We'll pick it up from you later. Just like Amazon and like all these people were doing, right? So that's what we were doing.
It's weird that they would have restrictions like that on you as a healthcare provider, but not in Amazon.
Because we're billing the government.
I understand that, but I just think this whole concept of like this contactless delivery.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's still like people are still ordering meds. I get that it's because you're not billing the government, but the reality is like the process was drastically different for small businesses like you.
Well, it was everywhere.
Versus,
it was across the board though too, Ryan. So
even like the large companies?
Yeah, even the larger
companies.
That's good. So it's not like it wasn't just like targeting specifically, but the part that stank is that like after a few months, they came back, they're like, okay, show us your proof of delivery logs. And we were showing them and they're like, well, you didn't write COVID on this one. You wrote contactless delivery. So this whole amount that we paid you, you got to pay it back to us.
See, I was waiting for the kicker. I was trying to figure out where the kicker came in.
Right?
There's always a kicker with the government.
So it's like, I looked at it, I'm like 6 months in, right?
Wow.
I'm like, I didn't like account for this, right? You think like when you put together a business plan, hey, I've got my operating costs. This is my burn rate. This is how much my cost of goods are going to be. This is how much like working capital I got to have. So like when you put all that stuff together, you don't account for getting your money taken away from you 6 months into the damn business being open. So I'm like, okay. And not only that, like you're paying the cost of goods.
Yeah, you've already paid.
So like I'll give you an example. If I buy this product for like $100, okay, I'm paying the wholesaler $100. Okay, I bill the insurance, whatever, $120.
Yep.
So I get $120 from the insurance. I already paid these guys $100. When the insurance comes back and they say, hey, we're taking back the money, they're not taking back the $20 that I made. They're taking back $120.
Yes.
So I'm out $220.
Yep.
And I only put in 100. Right? So it's like
that
I'm
math
losing.
Isn't mathing.
It's not mathing up. So I'm like, okay, dude, like, so I'm losing more by working with these people, and I don't know when they're going to come knocking on the door again. Mm-hmm. So after that ended up happening, that was like around May or June of 2021. So less than a year of being open, that all happened. And I was like, you know, God, like I have no idea what's going on. I'm like, just take
Was your family here at the time too?
Everybody was here.
Your wife gave you 3 months.
Yeah.
You beat that goal.
So we were good.
We're good.
We were good. And then
now everybody's here.
And then shit hits the fan again. Right? So I'm like,
as it does in business.
Right. So like, I'm like, okay, like, cause you're thinking like, okay, the first year's going by, like the first 6 months, I'm like, all right, thank God, like everything's working out.
Yep.
You know, the wife's happy, wife was still like kind of getting used to being out over here.
Yep.
But eventually, like when that came up, I was like, dude, like, I don't know what I'm going to be doing. And like, thank God, like I had my family around to like support us.
Yeah.
So I was able to lean on them a little bit during that time, but I literally was praying and I'm like, God, like, I have no idea what's happening. Like, just take the wheel, you know, just put me in whatever direction it is that you need me to go in, you know, cause I came out over here thinking like, hey, I know that this is what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to go down this path with insurance and all that type of stuff and I'll be okay. And then this wrench gets thrown into it and I'm like really in despair. And I'm like, okay, I lost more than what I ended up gaining. Mm-hmm. So now I'm even further back than when I had started. Wow. Right. So
at any point, did you want to move back to Chicago or were you guys happy?
No, I mean, I saw that we were getting like I just saw the kids, how much happier they were, dude. And it's unfortunate that we left like a lot of people that were in Chicago.
Yeah.
But just growing up, like being able to open up the door anytime for the majority of it.
Yeah.
And like, hey, go and play outside, right? Like how we were talking about before, like we would just play outside. Like that's how it is out here.
Yeah.
Out there, it's tough because it's like, you know, the weather and all that type of stuff that goes on. And it's a concrete jungle in a lot of places. They're not like the same places that you were before.
It's true.
So when we moved here, I was just like, you know what, we're just going to keep going with it. And at that time, I had a patient of ours, and she had pointed us to this website. It's called the FLCCC, so Frontline COVID Critical Care. Mm-hmm. And these were the docs that were going against the grain during that time. So I was sitting over there and I was reading the studies, I was reading the articles, I was looking at it, and I was like I was already thinking that way to begin with because of all the nonsense that I witnessed in Chicago.
Yeah.
And then the insurance thing really put a bad taste in my mouth too. So I was like, you know what? Like, I'm looking at the studies, like this makes sense. Like we can provide these products for people.
Yeah.
And at that time, there was only a handful of docs that were like willing to write for like ivermectin and like all that type of stuff.
You have to say words that rhyme with.
Oh, I'm not allowed to
say.
I'm just kidding. Okay.
Yeah. Kidding.
So
the algorithm online, like, show's town. Taking off. I'm just kidding.
It's done. Yeah. Ivermectin.
Yes.
So we were doing that.
Yeah.
And that stuff, like we were compounding it. So I had at that point on that site, like you could filter it out and see, hey, in Arizona, which doctors are willing to do this. And at that time, there was like 5 doctors only that were willing to do that medication, like right for that
Maricopa
medication.
County or just in
Arizona
the state?
in general.
Wow.
Arizona in general. So the issue is that most of the organizational healthcare systems, they were instructed to not write for that medication at all. If any doctor was writing for that medication, they would get reported to the medical board.
Wow.
So in many other states, they were losing their licenses for writing that med. Okay?
Just that one med.
Just that one med. Kind of weird.
Yeah.
So, and it worked.
Yeah.
Strange. Okay. So, and we're talking about ivermectin here.
Ivermectin.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So when I was reaching out to these doctors, I got on the phone and I had a conversation with one of them. And her and I, she was a nurse. She's a nurse practitioner. We still talk to this day. So, I mean, God bless her. Amazing, amazing woman. Like, she saved countless people.
Yeah.
During that time. So after we had a conversation, like, we were aligning on like faith, on the whole like huge like bigger picture type stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Of the whole healthcare system, how this stuff is like not working the way that it should be. And we were just aligning, like everything was aligning, with that stuff. And I basically told her like, hey, Trisha, if you're in for it, like, just let me know. We'll be happy to do it for whoever it is. So she would call in scripts for her patients. Mm-hmm. At that time, my dad was helping me out with deliveries. So he would go and drop stuff off to people
awesome.
like the same day, I
love that it's been like a family business and affair. Like, you helped him, right, when he had the deli.
Yeah.
He's helping you. Like, it's really cool to see.
It's nice, man. Like, he's a rock star, dude.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's an awesome person. But I after we started doing all that stuff, it just started going from word of mouth, and like one patient they would call Trisha and they'd say, hey, Tim like dropped it off. Like, sometimes I was delivering it myself too.
Yeah.
Where I would go in, my dad would go in that same day, drop it off to that person, and they're like sick, like pneumonia type stuff, right?
Yeah.
Some patients were in the hospital on their deathbed, and there were patients coming in, they were sneaking it in for their loved ones.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, like, they totally reversed course, like intubated type stuff.
In the hospital.
Had no idea. And they're like, oh my God, you're so much better. What happened? Like, they're questioning their own thing.
Yeah.
And the person's walking out like 2 days later. Wow. After, their husband or wife was like sneaking it in the applesauce or something.
So I was going to say, like I just picture somebody walking in with like an In-N-Out burger bag.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
And it's like a hamburger.
Yeah. And like, bro, like, look at what you're smuggling. Like, it's not like you're doing like, you're not doing oxys, like bringing that stuff in. Like, you're doing something to help.
Yeah.
To help.
Yeah.
And like, that's what really like hit me, where I was like, before, like, everybody was like, you're gung ho about selling like oxys that are like killing people and getting them hooked on stuff.
Yeah.
But when it comes to this, that's going to save lives. You guys are like, we're good.
Well, and it's not anecdotal. Like, let's be very clear for people listening. Like, you were on the front lines. You saw the before and the afters of these patients.
Dude,
like,
I had people.
You don't just have these theories or
no, not at all.
Okay, I disagree with the way the government's running it, so I'm going to rebel and just do it. Like, no, you saw the before and the after of these patient outcomes.
Yeah.
Very quantitative, measurable, specific, all the things that science looks for, right?
Right.
And you're seeing these patients not just get better.
Science.
Yeah. Return back to their form of life that they're excelling in.
I mean, it was amazing, Ryan, because like in the beginning, it wasn't just like one of those things like you're saying, I'm just going to rebel, right? I was looking at the studies themselves.
Yeah.
And I noticed that there was something weird going on early on. And by seeing all that, and then to your point, having people come in, dude, and like, I'm telling you, like, we would have people, like when I was doing the insurance thing, we would go above and beyond with customer service, right? Bill, Phil, get it to their door the same day. Like, you weren't getting that anywhere that you were going, right?
Yeah. That's incredible.
But it was like one of those things where like those patients, like, I don't want to say that they didn't care, but it felt like it was going unappreciated, right? And then you flip the reverse, like, we're offering this product for people. We're not billing insurance. They're paying for it out of pocket. They're coming in tears, thanking us.
Wow.
because we're saving their lives. Like literally, like I've got a gentleman who still comes to this day. He still comes to us because he was dying. He was literally dead for like 30 seconds. And then he pulled through, and he came over yesterday. Wow. You know, so it's like when you do stuff like that, it wasn't me that was doing it, right? It was all God like pointing me in that direction.
Amen.
So it's like doing all of that stuff and just going and like believing that that's where we need to be going. All the doors started opening up.
Wow.
So like all those doctors and everybody that we were working with, because we were willing to stick our necks out during that time, like most of the pharmacies that were in that area, like everywhere across the country, dude, like they weren't even touching it.
Oh yeah.
They weren't even touching it. So it's like we would get patients, they would get their scripts sent over to Walgreens, if I'm even allowed to say their name. Right. So like I won't say them specifically.
Hey, if Walgreens is watching our podcast, like great.
Yeah.
Like awesome.
So like if anybody was like getting their scripts sent over to like a larger pharmacy or whatever it was, they were under the directive that they would cancel the order altogether. Like it didn't even exist.
So that's what happened to us. So I've never shared this story, but my wife and I had COVID, and we wanted to order ivermectin. Like that's what we wanted to do. Mm-hmm. It's our health.
Yeah. You're pronouncing it wrong.
Oh, sorry. Ivermectin. We're making it rhyme for the sake of censorship. Anyway, that's what we wanted to do. Mm-hmm. We had, read the studies. Like she's a nurse.
Yeah.
Right. So she's dialed in, seen the outcomes, right? Seen family members and loved ones that have done this treatment route. Mm-hmm. It was like a whole 3-pack of something, right? It was ivermectin, was it zinc or no, quercetin, vitamin D, like that pack, right?
Right.
So we have 2 scripts. We were able to get them, take it to Walgreens. Saturday was my script, and then Sunday was the fill date of the other. Like it wasn't the same day because I think we had, like she had seen the provider and then I had the next day or something. So it was staggered.
Right.
Saturday, they filled it for my script. Mm-hmm. Sunday, they denied it. Overnight.
Yeah.
For my wife's script.
Yeah.
So what do you think I did? Like, I'm not taking if she's not going to take it.
Sure.
Right. And so she takes it. It's fine. Mm-hmm. Nothing. We both had COVID. Like, symptoms here or there, but nothing crazy.
Right.
I didn't. And I had symptoms that I had never felt before. Mm-hmm. Like it was, anyway, we're just gonna leave it there. But it was weird to me as a patient, how 24 hours, the same pharmacy, the same script, the same provider didn't fill it. Like I showed up and they said, no, we can't do that anymore. Mm-hmm. What do you mean you can't? I was here less than 24 hours ago picking up a script.
Yeah. It's
the same provider, the same script, the same process, the same pharmacy, like nothing changed. Mm-hmm. And with less than 24 hours, they didn't fill it.
They had a directive, yeah.
That to me was weird. Mm-hmm. Like I had never experienced that in healthcare before as a patient.
Right.
And so just to tag on that from the patient side from my end, I'm not a provider like you are, but like from my patient end, it still struck me as odd.
That's how it was, man. It was going around all over the place. And if they weren't denying the script altogether, they were pricing people out. So like the insurance companies, like at that point, the governor here in the state was putting directives on like the state Medicaid where they would deny those meds from being covered altogether. So what would happen is like they would basically get an order that would come through and they would try to bill the insurance. So for like ivermectin, for example, they would fill for the 3 milligram and you'd have to take however many, like 5 or 6 of them to get the dose that you needed to treat it. The insurance company would reject it back and be like, hey, above the exceeded maximum dose or send us a diagnosis code. They never do that at all. They've never done that.
With any other medication.
Where they're asking for diagnosis codes for like random meds. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's certain ones where you bill like Medicare Part B, you were required to put in like a diagnosis code for it. They were specifically looking to see if it was for COVID so that they can track what was going on with it. Wow. Okay. So like after that, what would happen is, okay, they'll go to the patient if they were going to fill it and they would give them the option. They'd say, okay, you can get it, you know, we're going to have to give you 40 tablets, but it's going to cost you $300. You know, so from...
And you didn't need 40 tablets.
I mean, to get the dose, yeah, you do.
Okay.
Right? But those were 3 milligram tablets, and they have to take however many. They had to take a multiple amount of them for a certain amount of time. So, but they were pricing people out. So they were charging about $6, $7 each tablet for those products. So then they would come and they'd find us somehow, you know, through, like I said, just, it was like, it was its own little community that people, I wasn't advertising. I wasn't allowed to advertise anywhere.
Yeah.
It was just literally going out and just giving good service to people and just working with the docs and just letting them know. And one doc told the other one, and we were just kind of putting it together.
Wow.
But they would come to us, and we were charging, like, at that point, I think it was like $4 for a capsule, and it didn't matter what strength it was at all. So, like, we were undercutting, like, the pricing, like, significantly. So, like, people were coming in, they were able to get, like, 30 capsules for $120. Our price now went down even further.
Yeah.
Because we're just getting more efficient. I'm able to source it from a better vendor.
Yeah.
So like all that type of stuff starts adding up, and we start passing the savings along to our patients. Right. But like at that point in time, we were still like super affordable.
Yeah.
You know, so that's where we really like kind of shined during that time. But dude, like it started getting nuts. And like I would come in, like there were times we would have orders that were coming in like during the height of it. And I had a pharmacist that was helping me out. He couldn't help out with like compounding. So I was doing everything by hand.
Wow.
So like every capsule I would have to be making it by hand. And we were getting orders that were coming through the door like constantly, you know, and it was such a blessing. So it's like I saw like what we were doing, and I'm like, this is God's work. Like all of this is God's work.
I love that.
So like when we were going through and having all that stuff, I'd go in like at nighttime, like I'd literally come home at like, we'd close up shop at about 5 or 6. I'd get home, have dinner with my wife and the kids, you know, help put the kids to bed. I'd take a nap for like half hour, and then I'd be back up at like 9 p.m. and I'd go back to the shop until like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Because you had that many
just
orders
to like
pouring in.
try to get like caught up as much as I could.
Now, were those overnights better than the Wally World overnights?
100%. 100%. My worst day at this shop is better than probably some of the best days that I had at Wally World, man.
You're no stranger to the overnights.
Yeah. But
Just
like, I mean,
getting it done.
It was one of those things where like, you know, we had a responsibility. I felt like we had a responsibility to do what we were doing.
100%.
And you know, still back up at like 4 o'clock in the morning the next day.
Yeah. And that's something I really want to draw in on, because most people, and that's why we like started this show as well, is like most people just see kind of the business as it is, the end result.
Yeah.
Oh, you're successful, right? But they don't see the work that it takes to get there, because a lot of business owners like keep to themselves. Like you didn't put on social media, heading back up to the pharmacy at 9 p.m., right?
Yeah.
Like you just did it.
Yeah.
Because it was the responsibility that you carried.
Yeah.
And the understanding of that blessing and that weight and how beautiful that is. But it's not like you were projecting it out there for the world to see. And I think so often those moments get overlooked, but that's where the business is made.
Yeah.
It's not in, okay, we have a great workflow, we have a great culture now,
Sure.
whatever. No, it was built in those moments.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really cool to hear.
Yeah. And that's part of that culture that you want to keep going, you know, and just reiterate how it's really like God's work that's coming through. Like the first week that we started doing the ivermectin stuff, out of nowhere, a nun walks in the door.
Like full garb?
Full garb nun. I'm like, you know, hey,
how did you address how do you address a nun?
Sister.
Okay.
Hey sister, how can I help you? I've like never walked into our doors at all, right? Yeah. So it's like the first week we're doing ivermectin. She walks through this door, and the first question out of her mouth is, "Do you guys sell ivermectin?"
Wow.
And I was like, as a matter of fact, yeah, we do. She said, okay, we're going to bring our whole convent over here. And I'm like, all right, cool.
Literally.
Like if you need a sign, Tim, I don't know what else to tell you, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like,
I'm going to bring the whole convent into your pharmacy.
Yeah, man. So it was just like such a blessing. Like, no, like that was like very early on. So it's like, I knew like, okay, dude, like I'm not, like I'm going in this direction the way that I need to go at this point, you know? So like from then on, like we've been building those relationships with these doctors, and like now that like that's kind of like tailed off, it's picking back up now because people are seeing that it might help for like other ailments as well. But like those docs that we worked and we built that relationship with them during like a really dark time for many people. Like they're still seeing patients and they're sending us the rest of their stuff now. So it's like, it's good because it's like, they knew like we were all like kind of, you know, banded in arms during that whole time. And we
Forged
can like,
in the fire.
yeah, for real, dude. Like, so it's like when we were going through that whole thing, like everybody had each other's backs and we were just trying to make sure that we were delivering on what we needed to. So it's been cool, man. It's been cool. But to your point, like seeing that end result of what the business is, dude, like we have interns that come through at the pharmacy. So I precept for all the pharmacy schools here. So I've been doing that since being in Chicago, since I graduated. One of my buddies was going through pharmacy school and he's like, hey, Tim, I need you to be my preceptor. I was like, I have no idea what the hell that entails. He's like, well, just fill out this paperwork and then you just got to sign off that I'm doing these projects. I was like, all right, bro, like whatever, like we'll start doing it.
It's like an internship, a medical internship.
Yeah, so like they would come in because like in your final year for pharmacy school, you have to go in and you have to do like, not a residency, but you have like experiential education. So you'll go out and you'll actually end up working at like different types of pharmacies. So whether it's like a hospital system, whether it's a compounding pharmacy, you work in like a rehab facility, nuclear pharmacy. So like you get exposed to different areas of pharmacy. And then when you graduate, then you can make kind of a more educated decision on where you want to line up. So we get students that come in all the time and we're one of the sites for those schools. So we'll show them like compounding pharmacy. And they'll come in and they'll see it, you know, and I've been through it. So it's like, I've been there like when it was 100 degrees in the damn pharmacy building all this stuff, but then they're walking in for the first time with fresh eyes and just seeing it as is, you know what I mean? So I like gotta kind of like I let them know that stuff. Cause like they'll come in expecting like a lot of the other rotation sites, it's not like independently owned, right? The owner themselves is not the preceptor. It's usually like a pharmacy director that has no like investment whatsoever inside of the place that it's at. Like even when I was working at Wally World, like I would be over there as a pharmacist that was there. I would have interns that come in and I would show them how to be able to run and manage a pharmacy in a retail setting, you know, but I had no like, I didn't build anything that was there. Like they already did it themselves, right? But when you have that like, that in you where you're like, dude, like this started, I had nothing that was over here. And you share that story with them. Like, I'm grateful you're having me on this podcast so that at least like we can kind of do grateful, this, you know, but like when the students come in and we see them, like right now I've got 3 of them that are there, you know, so they'll come in and I'll share that story with them. And I'll share the story of the ivermectin with them. I'll share the story of like what my background was, like where it came from. So like this whole podcast, like I've had this conversation with so many different students that come through that I'm grateful for because then it's like kind of doing the same thing and like letting them know when they start practicing, like, hey, listen, like just because they're telling you to do something a certain type of way, you are your own independent thinker. So always use that so that when you start like practicing and going out in the field, you have a responsibility to the patients that you're serving. Are you doing the best thing for them realistically? Not just what somebody's telling you to do. Are you doing the best thing for them? Right? So that's crucial, I think.
That's cool because, you know, you said early on that you feel like you had a responsibility to the patients, of course, and to helping them. That's really what drove you to not just find the niche, so to speak, right? But to do the research, to see the outcomes. And so now the niche that you've built around is truly impactful, but now you're doing it on the next generation, right? Being able to spend time with that next generation coming up and not just have them feel like it's another course that they're doing or another class that they're doing, but educating them in a way that, you know, you had to do on your own through whatever they call the school of hard knocks, right? And now they get to get all of this information so that they can make a better informed decision. And I think it's just so fascinating to me just in the healthcare space where America is built on, you know, competition and outcomes, right? Usually companies that have better outcomes, you know, the market adopts, customers like more if there's a better outcome or something. But in this time, outcomes weren't the factor, right? And so you've brought that forward and said, hey, this is quantitative. This is people coming in crying. This is because they're healed, because they're better. Like, these are outcomes that are real, and you can touch them and you can see the benefits. And they're probably still patients of yours who are now coming back to you for other healthy modalities, right? And so to your point, to really see them on that journey, now you're able to impact the next generation of pharmacists and people that are in school that are coming out of school with a different lens, hopefully.
That's
maybe a more well-rounded lens, right?
Yeah, that's definitely the goal. And I mean, outcomes are outcomes. You're the one that determines what the outcome is that you're trying to show.
Yeah.
And you can always manipulate data sometimes to give yourself the best light as you possibly can.
Yeah.
So like, that's why, like, from my standpoint, like, I'll go through and I'll read like whatever clinical studies and all that type of stuff. But then, once you start seeing like, hey, like, follow the money.
Yeah.
Where is it really coming in from? What's the overarching objective for what they're trying to push with this? And those are questions that I ask the students too, about, hey, look at why they're doing this thing. Why would they do something that's like that? And then they'll start looking at it and they'll say, oh yeah, actually, like, it does kind of make sense that they would try to focus on this specific area versus the overall picture. Yeah. Right. And they do that because they have to apply for funding. There's certain government directives that they have to abide by. Right. So a lot of organizations, especially in the healthcare realm, they're heavily dictated by the government as a payer.
Yeah.
So depending on what initiative it is that they're trying to push, that's what they have to comply with.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, many people they won't speak out because they're risking their well-being and their livelihoods to be able to provide for their families, and then the whole system as a whole.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's such a slippery slope where it's like, that's why, like, I'm very fortunate and blessed that we were able to open this place up when we did, because thankfully I haven't had to like worry about that type of stuff. Yeah. There's a lot of stresses.
Yeah.
Like, business, I mean, there was times where like we were billing in Medicare. And there was a directive that was coming in from the former administration, if you want to call it an administration, that they said basically, like, if you didn't get a recommended treatment, they would cut funding from any government subsidy.
Wow. Which
included Medicare and Medicaid. And that really like played heavy in my decision of stopping to take insurance altogether. Where I was like, okay, if that's how it is,
they keep rewriting the rules.
If that's how it is, I'm not going to do this anymore. And that was like kind of the straw that broke the camel's back, where I was just like, I don't need it. And I literally, like, at this point in time, like, I just look at insurance money as blood money. Yeah. And like, if you're a part of that whole system, I love that quote.
Really, that just hit. I love insurance money is blood money.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, like, cause it's just like the one thing that I tell the students is that when you get out of school, whether you're a doctor, you're a chiropractor, you're a physical therapist, you're a pharmacist, you're a nurse practitioner, you're a dentist, whatever industry that you're going into, you want to go out and help patients. Hopefully that's your like whole thing and the reason why you were going into it. I mean,
it's in the creed that you take, right? Isn't there Hippocratic Oath, right?
Hippocratic Oath is for doctors. We have like a pharmacist oath that follows like a similar type of thing, right? So when we're doing that and you're going through the schooling, your intent and hope is that when you get out, you've got the patient's best interest at heart, right? But then when I tell them, I'm like, okay, you're going to go out and you're going to work at whatever hospital system, you're going to work at whatever pharmacy or anywhere that you end up being. Your check is being cut by the company that you're working for, but how do you think that company's getting the money to cut your check? So who's really your employer?
Wow.
the insurance company is the employer.
So true.
So if you don't start understanding that you have no like freedom when it comes to practicing, and you want to bitch and complain about what's going on, you got no choice. The only choice that you have is you got to step up and you got to do something different.
You can't have it both ways.
You can't have it both ways. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like that's the one thing that like really pissed me off. Like when it was going through the whole situation, and I had, you know, friends that were working at these larger chains, and they were bitching and complaining and all that stuff about like, oh my God, I can't believe that they're making us do this and they're doing that. I'm like, why don't you get 10 of your friends and walk out of the damn door and then see what happens?
Yeah.
It doesn't take much. It doesn't take much. They might lose their job, right? But guess what? If they stood up like that, there's going to be a million other people waiting in the midst to
100%.
hire them.
Yeah, I don't know why sometimes we live in such a mindset of depravity, so to speak, around that. Like, oh, there's nowhere else for me to go. It's like, no, you have to build whatever you're doing on integrity first.
Exactly.
And the rest will always follow.
Exactly.
I hire for character and integrity over everything else now. I don't care what experience you have. I don't care. Like, sure, some things matter. I get that. But my point is I will always hire over character and integrity.
Right.
Over anything else.
100%, man.
And there are so many business owners out there that will do that. And I think sometimes people lose sight of that. The employees lose sight of that, of having that hope. Like, no, there is somebody out there.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to take that stand of integrity.
Exactly.
But there is somebody out there.
It's like, what are you going to stand for kind of situation? You know what I mean? And that's the part that like people don't understand how much power they've got, man.
Yeah.
They don't. Like if you, and this was like a subject that I would tell some of the students that were there, is that, hey, if 100 pharmacists walk out of Walgreens at one point, you know, and they're complaining about giving shots or whatever the hell it is. And I'm not condoning this, but I'm just saying, like in general,
Tim causes a mass
but like this
walkout.
is, dude, like, but this is the thing, right? This is where like when you talk about like how like if certain employees throughout history, even in this country, right? Rockefeller had his employees who would work him to the grave, and then at some point they stood up and they're like, dude, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Right? You can't keep doing this. They walked out. It wasn't all of them. You take out a few of them, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, wait a second.
Yeah.
They'll second guess it. Nobody did that.
Yeah.
No one has done it still.
Yeah.
So it's like, bro, like, okay, dude, like you want to sit and like preach and say all this stuff, but like walk the walk too.
Yeah, you have to.
Walk the walk. Like you can't just, like how you're saying, you can't have it both ways.
Yep.
You know? So
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. Before I let you go, one-liner, piece of advice. You know, you've been through it all. Entrepreneur, business owner, you know, you're in the healthcare field as well, pharmacist, a nice apothecary, the best apothecary. What's one piece of advice you would give to a business owner as we end this show?
As long as you know your why, you'll always make through whatever it is that you're going through.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tim. Great recommendation on the tea. The first time trying the brand.
You got it, man.
I really enjoyed it, and just so appreciate your time and your expertise coming on. Man, we might have to do a follow-up in the future depending on how these healthcare trends go. So I look forward to it.
You got it, Ryan. Anytime, man. It's been a pleasure. Thank you again.
Thanks.
Awesome.